I want to share what happened today, you guys. So this is today. My husband and I dragged him to an event. We're in our hotel room, you guys. We're kind of sitting up. We're sitting up. Okay, we're good. Can everybody hear us? By the way, I want to make sure we have our volume on. We have our everything on. And see right here, people can talk to us right here, babe. See when they say things. Gotcha. You see that? Okay. It's Friday. I didn't know if anybody would be on, but I was like, I'm so full of like my head's going like this. I realized today what it feels like when someone comes to listen to maybe me speak or other events, like as an attendee, like that was a lot to take in. Don't you think?
It was a lot.
I'm going to be honest. When I signed up for this event, it was many, many months ago. Hi, Lisa. And my husband is not a big fan of like empowerment event kind of things. He says he loves listening to me speak.
I like yours.
He likes it. But I will tell you, like, I've been to so many empowerment events, whether I've spoken at those or I've been at events where other people spoken. I've had the opportunity to like sit down and to speak to like Mark Eaton, you know, who makes so much money to go out and speak because he was a professional, I about said basketball player. And it was amazing. And so I purposely did not find out who was speaking at this event. We signed up for it. I told my husband about it several months ago. And what did you say when I told you about it? Be honest. Just be completely honest.
You said it was called the Summit of Greatness. I'm sure I rolled my eyes like, oh, geez.
Yeah, he did. And he was like, hi, Lisa. And he was like, we're flying to Columbus, Ohio in September.
When we have every weekend booked already.
We've got this literally next week on Tuesday. We're at Silhouette. They're having a big thing. People are flying in. We're really lucky that we don't have to fly to that.
That's gonna be awesome.
They're debuting the Cameo 4. That's Tuesday. On Thursday, I'm speaking in Times Square, like downtown New York City. I'm speaking as the keynote at an event next weekend. So I really, really wanted to like go to an event completely as an attendee where no one knew me. It was awesome. Like just going there and absorbing, and it was really cool. So I am overwhelmed, but I wanted to share some things with you that touched me today. And I'm going to be really honest with you about something that happened this morning. You don't know I'm going to share this.
Do I know what happened?
Yeah, because you looked at me crazy, like I was weird.
Oh.
Okay, so
you'll have to be more specific.
Okay, so Leann Rimes.
That happens a lot.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. So Leann Rimes, if you don't know who she is, she has been performing since the age of 5. And country music, she's just incredible, you guys. And she sang, I guess a cappella is what you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy cow. I did not expect. First off, I was like, is she speaking? Is she singing? Well, she did both. So she got up there and she got very vulnerable. And she was really, really nervous because she doesn't speak. That's not her thing. So this was like her first time ever speaking. And it was crazy, you guys. You could tell she was nervous. So she got up, and I think she sang first, but she got up and she was like, I'm feeling very vulnerable. She goes, I could sing. She goes, I sing easier than I breathe. Like she was talking about that, like, you know, like it's singing to her comes before anything, but speaking and using her own voice to share who she is and stuff was really hard. And so she talked about, you guys, if you know who Leann Rimes, you probably know that like what happened in her world, and just it was chaotic, and her marriage, getting remarried, you know, all that drama that went down. You can tell I'm such a positive person. I hate talking about that kind of stuff. Like, I just don't even like to think about it. But anyway, so she went through a lot and she got a lot of negativity. And so what she talked about was she talked about being vulnerable and about how the hard times, everybody went after Leann. Like, everybody was like, you're this, you're that, you're this, and she talked about that in life, how the person that you should be worried about the most is yourself. How do you feel about yourself? And I was like, so like, that is just absolutely Leann Rimes. I kept looking at Brian. I'm like, that girl's me. Like, we have the same, like, I tell people that all the time. I'm like, who cares if somebody doesn't like you, as long as you love yourself, because it has to start with you. So she says something. She was saying, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm sharing the story. And she goes, I want you to know that, like, I'm a perfectionist. And she talked about how it really has controlled her life, worrying about what people think about if she's perfect. And she shared some things, and I looked over at my husband and I said, Brian, I think I'm a perfectionist.
Not a news flash.
And I was like, and he goes, you are. And I go, I was literally in shock. I go, am I really? I think I'm a perfectionist. I just always thought it was my need to do things right. And so my husband sat there. Oh, your mom's here. Hi, Mom. So what did you say to me, Brian? Do you remember?
You are. I don't know.
He goes, honey, you are. That is, you try so hard to be perfect. And it's really hard on me because I've always wanted to be the perfect mom, the perfect boss, the perfect friend, to host the perfect events, to give the perfect talk. And I didn't even see it. Like, I knew I always wanted to do my best. I literally didn't see it. And Leann Rimes is up there talking, you guys, and I'm sitting here, and my husband's on my right side. So sorry, I was like, look, and I go, she's talking to me. She's talking about, like, things that, like, I needed to hear. And I didn't expect it. Coming to this event, I didn't expect, of all people, Leann Rimes to like lay it down for me, right? So I was just in shock. I'm gonna be honest. Brian, were you in shock? Like,
she did awesome.
She was awesome. And then she did a chant. Do you remember the chant?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the chant. Okay, Brian, so tell them what you thought a little bit of the day today while I'm finding that. This is why you take notes.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. Too hard to take notes in there. It was dark, but I heard.
Yeah, and that's why I had to use on my phone, you guys. Can you see that? Everything, girl, I had my planners there. I had all 3 planners. You couldn't see a thing, so I had to use my phone. You guys, so this is what she said. Where are you, Leann Rimes? I gotta she had her own little thing here because I was like, it was so powerful. And she said, oh, where are you? Babe, where is it? It's gonna like, oh gosh, it was so good. I don't know what happened to it.
That's Ed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where's the Leann Rimes one? Oh no. Like, it literally, it's okay. Cause it was like, no, it's not. It's not there. Oh no. Oh, did I delete it? Oh. Oh my goodness. You guys, I'm a little nervous.
You only have 154 notes, so.
Is that bad? Is that a lot to have 154 notes?
Got like 5.
The ball game is too loud. Oh, your dad must be listening to a ball game. That's so funny. Okay, so.
I think they're at a Braves game tonight.
What? Oh man. Okay, so she talked about I am love. You remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
You don't remember it? Okay, never mind. That's why you have to write things down, you guys, because it was so powerful. Anyway, so we did a chant, and I thought a chant was like a chant. She was singing it, and she wanted us to sing it. And did you do it?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was.
But did you sing it?
Yeah.
You really did?
Yeah. Super loud.
Oh my gosh. Not. You are so like, you did not, Brian Weber.
I repeated the words.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, she sat, so instead of wearing shoes when she spoke and she sang, she says she always wears, she goes barefoot because she wants to feel grounded. And so then she got and sat Indian style on the stage when she did the chant, and it was beautiful. And she had us like breathe in and breathe out. And it was just really impactful. And so then I was just like, then there was another guy that spoke after. I want to say his name because I'm like, my head, like I said, is like mush. So if you want to know who spoke next, his name was Ed Milet. And I love, this is the quote he said, you guys. This is the one quote that I'm going to give to you. And I'm going to be sharing this to other people. Like, I'm going to do the quote. He said, everything in this life happens for you and not to you. Powerful. If you're listening to this right now, you girls, I don't see any guys on here. So everything in life happens for you and not to you. So basically, say somebody does something bad and you could consider yourself a victim from that, or maybe you feel like someone did you wrong, or you're going through something really hard. They said to look at it, instead of looking at it like, oh crap, like what in the world, why in the world did this horrible thing happen to me, and take it as a negative, it built you. That's how I took it. Like, it happened for you. And I'm going to be honest, like that, I totally resonated with him, because I believe we decide whether we're going to be a victim. You know, we decide, are we going to go, life sucks, you did this to me, I hate you, and or maybe even like, I'm going to be a little personal here. My dad, when my dad and mom were married, I'll never forget, I was probably about 9 or 10, and my dad cheated on my mom. And don't want to share with who, but it was a very, 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 very close person in my mother's life. And my mom was devastated that my dad had done this to her. And my mom, I can't even believe, I'm going to be honest, like my mom set the best example for me, because when I found out about it, I was so young, I didn't understand. I've never even shared this with you. I didn't understand. And I didn't understand why my mom chose to stay. And honestly, I was too young, and I'd never really asked my mother, but I will tell you, my mother made a decision to stay with my father, but my mom was never the victim in that situation. And what I mean by that, she grew from that, and actually, like, it kind of changed their marriage. Their marriage was horrible, don't get me wrong. And there was a lot of horrible things, but my mom did not let it make her an angry, bitter person. She decided to forgive my dad, and she truly did. And so that's when this Ed Milet, would you say Milet? Is that Milet? So when he spoke today at the Summit of Greatness, he spoke right after Leann Rimes, and he said this, and I wrote it down, and I was like, that is something like I completely, and again, I'm going to say it again because a couple of you just joined. It said, everything in life happens for you and not to you. So the next time we go through things that we perceive as hard, difficult, trying, maybe a crisis in our life. Like he talked about that. Do you remember what he talked about crises?
No.
Oh my gosh, you guys, like, I'm kind of embarrassed. I thought he was
I was there for the whole thing.
But you don't remember that?
I don't remember him saying anything about a crisis.
He talks about you have a crisis when you're 15. You don't know what you're going to do when you're 16.
No.
When you're 20, you have a crisis thinking, what's going to happen when I'm 21? And then you're 25 and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've not figured this out. And he goes, your whole life, if you really think about it, what happened yesterday and beyond and before is gone. Sorry, sister. I'll call you later. My sister tried to. What happened before today doesn't matter anymore. Let it go. Right?
That's what I said.
You can't change it. Like, and I agree with that. Like, you can't live in the past. Like, if you're holding on to things that are not serving you, let them go. Like, let it go. Like, you know, I will say that, like, not talking too personal, but you've done that, you know?
Yep.
You really have. Like, you don't sit around and go, oh, this happened to me, or oh, that, you know, you're really good about that. And it's like he talks about right now. And so did that other speaker. He was awesome. He says, you are sculpting you to who you are, who you want to be. You are sculpting yourself. And you guys, that was really, I really enjoyed that. So he's amazing. And then he talked about giving. And his whole talk was talking about just basically how in life, if you want to be successful and you're wanting to grow your business, or you're wanting to, you want to get married, you want to become a mother, you want to be like all the things that you want to happen in your life, he goes, start by giving. Give of your time. Give more of you. Giving is the key. What can I give? He goes, it will bring you happiness. It will attract everything you want in your life. It will attract that. And I really, really, really love that. Okay, so another speaker, I didn't write down his name, darn it. He said, and I wanted to, so I'm just giving you the highlights that just really spoke to me, because we're here and my life seems to be the crisis. Okay, Laura, this is for you. That quote, remember here, I'm going to say it to you again. Right now, Laura, everything in life happens for you and not to you. I love it. And he shared some really great examples. I believe that. I think about all the times that I personally failed as a mother, as a business, as a wife, like in different things, like, because no one has a perfect life. No one has it all figured out, because I'm actually grateful. I was talking to you about this last night. I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little personal here, but I'm really grateful that for the times that we've had that we struggled, because I feel like those times have only helped our marriage to like really grow, to like know each other more, to learn what we both need in different ways. And especially getting remarried after being widowed, and you got remarried after 23 years of marriage and a divorce, like we came into our marriage in a really different emotional state. Would you say that?
For sure.
Well, yeah. And Brian is very logical. Would you say that, Jer? And how do you feel like you communicate, Mr. Weber?
I'm pro.
Well, now you're a pro. Okay, good to know. Yeah, okay, that's good to know. And I, as you can tell, like I am very, very.
I've never noticed that you're a talker. It's weird.
Yes, honey. Yes, honey. But I like to communicate, and I think things. And I was even telling him yesterday, even not even on a personal level, I said, I'm so grateful for the times that like Michael's have told me no on certain situations, or for all the no's I've gotten in business. It's only driven me further to get the yeses. Or when I've had my failures in so many different things, I'm just that girl that's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, okay, that's not a failure. That's a learning experience. Take two. Let's do it again. And so another thing that spoke to me that I wanted to share, and by the way, thanks for spending your Friday night if you're here with me and him, Brian, Mr. Weber. I always say this all the time, and so sorry I repeat myself. I say every day I'm building myself. I'm building myself. Every day, whatever I did yesterday kind of doesn't, I have to start over. I have to keep building myself. I have to keep going and I set personal goals. and business goals, but like I have to build myself, and in the process I want to build others. I want to help others know that they can do the same thing, that they can overcome things. And so today this one speaker was talking about like the foundation of his home and how he was actually it was Ed Mylett. Sorry, you guys. Don't worry, he's never going to watch this, so we're okay. He talked about building this ridiculously massive gigantic.
Not a word.
Gigantic. Okay, I was like kidding.
Ginormous.
Gigantic home, and that he had bought this ridiculously. I mean, he's in the wealthiest top 50 men in the world under the age of 50, and for Forbes. In America, sorry. Yeah, so not in the world?
He's still rich. No.
Okay, whatever. So this guy that spoke. And so he showed this house, and he talked about how he was building it. Oh, thank you, Aaron. He was building it on this like a shore kind of like, and he found out
once solid rock in a mountain.
And so he found out that building a house there wasn't possible. So they had to figure out how to get rid of all the rocks. And his contractor was like, sir, like this is going to be like $30,000 a day to get a crew in there to get all the rocks out so you can build a foundation for your house. And he goes, well, how many days is that going to be? And it ended up being 11 months at $30,000 a day. So this guy who spoke, let's just say he's got some coins, right? So he talked about how finally they came to him and they are like, hey, this isn't working, Ed. Like we don't know how we're going to build your house because you have to have a foundation. So they used dynamite. They blew it up. And you probably like that story, right?
That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But what they figured out was that the rocks, all the rocks and all the things that they had there were going to be the foundation of his gigantic house. And so he talked about like, you have to have a foundation for your home. And immediately I looked over at Brian and I wrote it down. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Like when I'm talking about building yourself, you have to have a foundation, and everybody's foundation's different. And I wanted to raise my hand. I wanted to contribute to what he was saying, but I didn't want to embarrass you or anything. But I was thinking to myself, as he's talking about his house and the foundation, my head went to, wait a minute, on a very personal level for me and for you and for you. And like, hey, wait. What's our foundation? What's our foundation? What are we doing to build ourselves? Like, what is our core foundation? And so I leaned over to Brian and I go, what's it? Integrity. That's a foundation for me. Like, and all the things that I feel like this is what makes me like solid, like unwavering. Because if you're like, okay, let's talk about foundation as a guy. When you're thinking about the foundation of like a home, it doesn't move, right?
It's got to be solid.
It's got to be solid. So that's what, when he talked about having a foundation for his home, I thought about having a foundation for ourselves. Did you kind of think of that too a little bit maybe? And that was really powerful to me, like that. Oh, sorry. So he was awesome. And oh my gosh, you guys, it was really, really amazing. So the other thing was there anybody that stood out to you, baby?
All four were really good.
You loved that. And yeah, I thought so too. So the wife, the husband of the lady, Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx. You guys probably know she's a billionaire. She started her company, and if you've never heard of Spanx, I'm actually wearing Spanx right now. Do you want me to show you?
I think they're good.
Oh, okay, gosh. Just kidding. I wasn't going to show you my Spanx, but I do wear Spanx. Oh my gosh, Dieter's on here. Sorry, Dieter. I don't wear Spanx, but
Dieter,
actually I do.
You know how this goes.
Dieter, TMI. So her husband, Jesse, spoke today. So Jesse, I had heard of him, but I didn't follow him. I actually followed his wife because she is a freaking girl boss, like awesome. Oprah had her one of the favorites, and in the first year of her business, they did $40 million, and she was selling her Spanx at $20 a pop. Go Sarah! Now she is a billionaire. Her husband, Jesse, how would you say his last name? Isler?
Yeah.
Isler? He spoke now, and he's like a crazy, insane, very ultra runner, extremely successful in his own rights. And he said he was more of the business guy. You know, he talked about like more business, but I really love this. If any of you like, you know, maybe have your own business. Darren, okay, Darren's on here. Tell Darren what we just said. Darren, we think you should come to this next year with us. It was so incredible. So he was talking about Jesse, who is the husband of Sarah, who is the Spanx queen. Like, what I got from him was, first of all, he was ultra cool. He's just really incredible. He goes, we don't negotiate our goals. And I love that. Because I thought, like, you know, because I'm a goal setter every day. What's my goals today? What are we going to get done? And my husband is like, can you slow down a little bit? Because I am like, I'm writing my goals, my planners. This is going to be done. And I just make it happen. Like when I wanted to go meet Leann Rimes today, like I told my husband, I'm like, I'm going to go meet her. Didn't I? Literally. Yep, and I said, hey, do you want to be in the picture with me and Leann? And so we were talking and they had to stop us from talking.
They're trying to push you through there.
Yeah, they were trying to push us through. And so, but don't worry, I'm going to send her my products. But anyway, but right, like I'm a goal setter. Like I'm like, okay, like it wasn't even an option. It was like they said, you know, but then they only let a few people go meet her. Like we got really lucky that we got to meet her because very few people really got to go meet her today. Anyway, but Jesse, so Darren, you have to come. We'd really love for you to come next year because I must have just missed something. I'll rewatch later. What have I seen? Oh, this event's amazing here, you guys.
The recap of the Summit of Greatness.
I'm still doing it though. Like
okay. You're 3/4 of the way in.
No, I'm not. Okay. It's Friday night. We're having our date night. We're in the hotel room.
You talked about 3 of the 4 people. That's 3/4.
I'm still in the beginning of the third person.
Oh, geez, we're going to be here all night.
What?
Good thing I didn't have plans.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, you guys, what do I do with Mr. Weber? Love him, love him. But he said,
you're crazy.
Get back here.
I got to get a drink. I'm going to get dehydrated after an hour of this.
You can get me a drink if you want to.
Oh.
We went to CVS and he had to get his Diet Cokes or whatever. Diet Dutch Pepper.
No.
Okay.
Asked about who bought what.
Oh, my Diet Mountain Dews.
Did I get any sodas? No.
Oh, you got baked chips, whatever. But you had already bought your drinks.
Why not?
Okay, so what Jesse said, and I want you to remember this. There's a couple things, and if you're just on new, I'm going to repeat something too. He goes, we don't negotiate our goals. Like, he goes, there's
also
no...
don't negotiate with terrorists. That's another story.
Did you really just say that?
You wanted me involved. That's your fault.
So my husband also wants you to know that we don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm sorry, you guys, like...
Personally or professionally.
Personally or professionally, I love you so much. Okay, we're in, your brother's laughing at you, LOL, Brian. Okay, we are in Columbus, Ohio. And you guys, my husband did not want to come here.
But Ohio State game tomorrow instead.
No, he's not. He's kidding. But I will tell you, Brian, all day, he got into it and he was like, this is awesome.
Great.
Like this event, like other than my event that's this month, I will be honest, like this is very much so, it's not just for business owners, but it's really for people who are struggling with, one of my favorite authors is going to be on the stage tomorrow, and she's talking about your feelings of feeling enough And I'm such an advocate of that. And like, I am so excited because this lady is like, I vibe with her. And like, I didn't even know who she was maybe 6 months ago. And I'd been speaking for a long time. And someone said, hey, do you know who Marissa Pierce or whatever is? And I said, no. And I went and ordered her book. And I was like, I felt like we had such similar views. So thankfully I get to hear her tomorrow. But anyway, something that Jesse said, he said today, he goes, have the hunger to live to your potential. He was like, every day, and this is kind of a little morbid. I'm just gonna be honest. He goes, we only have so much time. He goes, we're all riding this bus. And he goes, I want to be honest with you. He goes, we never know when the bus is going to end. He goes, we don't know when we're going to die. He goes, but everyone in this room, he goes, none of us are going to be alive in 100 years. Not one person in this room is going to be alive in 100 years. He goes, your bus is going to end. And he goes, what's going to happen with the rest of your life? He goes, I don't care what you've done up until right now. He goes, that's over. He goes, what are you doing right now to the end of your life? He goes, what are you doing to live to your potential every single day? And it was powerful. Like he's talking about, he goes, you're driving your bus, you guys. He goes, your bus is going to stop. And he goes, don't take one day. He goes, don't live in the past. Don't worry about your failures. Hi, Florence. Hi, everybody. He goes, don't worry about the things that happened yesterday or when you were a kid or whatever. They're like, your bus, you don't know how long you're going to be here. And it was like really, really good. And he said, so live every day, live to your potential. Are you really going to eat M&Ms in bed and drink your soda? Okay, so.
No, I'm not going to eat M&Ms.
So,
I don't know what you're talking
what did you
about.
think about that? Like, like the bus? Like, that was powerful to me. Like, because he goes, not one of us is going to be alive here.
The bus is moving no matter what.
The bus is moving no matter what. That is exactly what he said. And he was like, and he goes, somebody asked him in the audience, because here he is. He's married to Sarah, the Spanx queen. He himself is like a
couple $100 million.
$100 million, you know, so they're a billionaire couple. And someone said, you have everything materially. He's bought and sold companies, all these different things. And they're like, what scares you? What are you fearful of? And do you remember what he said?
Nope.
He said, I'm fearful of losing my children. You know, because in health, like things that you can't control, like he goes, none of those things matters. And he goes, and I realized, he goes, my wife Sarah and I, he goes, we realized that material things weren't the things that were like weren't the things that were most important. Obviously, he goes, we've decided it's the time that you are with your children. It's the times you're like doing activities. And so he had really bold like goals. And when he talked about we don't negotiate our goals, he said some things that I thought was really cool. He said, do one thing a year that is so massively big in your life that years from now you won't go, gosh, what happened in 2012, that you'll go, oh my gosh, in 2012, that's the year I hiked, what was that mountain he just did?
Mount Washington. In the snow.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to hike Mount Washington. I don't think you are going to do it. But like he just, he talked about his 50th birthday. He just turned 51. You guys want to know what he did on his 50th birthday? This was the coolest thing. So when you're living a life of really thinking about giving back to other people, and really living your life. He said he invited all of his friends to his 50th birthday party. And he's friends with, I'm going to be honest, a lot of those people I didn't know. Did you know who he
Oh, I
was
know all
talking
those
about?
guys. This guy was super famous in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Breakdancer, rapper.
Oh,
So he managed to run DMC.
yeah. He talked
hung out
about
with
that.
the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah. He talked about
Eric B. and
LeBron
Rakim.
James or something.
Hung out with all those guys.
So they all came to his birthday party, and he turned the script. For his 50th birthday, instead of everybody coming up and talking about him, he called up each of his friends and told them how much each of them meant to him personally. And he talked about that every day he sends 3 texts a day. He said, that's all I do. He said, I send 3 texts a day to people to tell them what I think about them, how much I love them, stay connected with them. And he goes, over a year, if you send 3 a day times 365 days,
1,000.
that was 1,000. Is that right?
A little over.
A little over 1,000. And he goes, you've reached out to 1,000 people and let them know how they've impacted your life. So you guys, I was like, oh, thank you. You're so sweet. I hope you like this little, I just felt like I gained so much today that I wanted you to have an opportunity to kind of hear what was felt by me, because I feel like a lot of times people are like, why go to this summit of
greatness?
And he was not a fan. He was like, oh, I don't need to go up there.
You signed us up for what?
Yeah.
When?
I know. You guys, first time ever, I wanted to experience what it was like. And I'm so glad I did, because first of all, I'm going to do something for myself every year. Oh, why is my finger dirty?
I don't know, but don't touch me with it. It's so gross.
Okay, whatever. So every year, I made a commitment. I'm coming back every year.
Oh, I thought you said you're going to do something every year that scared you, like hiking a mountain.
No, he did say that. He said, you should do something.
Coming back here every year is not exactly like death
I didn't say that. It's not death defying. I want to come back. I'm going to invite all of you to come with me. We can come as a group. It'd be really fun. Especially if Brian won't come with me again. Actually, he will. And we even talked about, we want to bring Darren with us. We think Darren would love it. Because we were trying to think of people that we knew that just,
really
the energy here is
so
awesome. So good. What else was I going to say?
I think you're done. That's good. All right. Night, everybody.
Okay, I guess
Just
I'm done.
kidding.
Psych. Oh my gosh, you're so crazy. You're so, is there anything you want to share about this experience?
I liked pretty much all of them talked about living in the moment, but in a sense of not some weird metaphorical live in the moment, but you're here right now.
I can't open it.
Do you want some help?
No, I got it. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Good job.
Okay.
Living in the moment in the sense of being present where you're at. And so not being very in your cell phone or on the internet or thinking about, what went wrong before, thinking about what you have to do next or why you can't do this thing, whatever. Instead of just enjoying where you're at and figuring out what's going on right now and how do you make yourself better right now instead of worrying about the past or the future or how somebody did you wrong or how you'll never have this or how you'll only be happy if you have that or whatever. Just kind of being present with the people around you and with yourself and thinking about things like what matters.
Oh gosh, I get a little weepy thinking about what Ed actually talked about. So Ed was, he spoke after Leann and he said something. I'm going to share this with you guys because it was really powerful, because this is part of, unfortunately, this right here is ruining a lot of things in our life.
It's a time sucker.
And so he talked about, he's a very, very successful, he's the one that I told you that he's in the top 50 Forbes for under 50 guy, right? He gets up there and he's very, but he was a big baby. He was like a bear. He was really an awesome guy. And he talked about how, we live on our phone, and he was, very successful business person. He was talking about how his daughter came in one day and he hadn't seen her all day. And he was looking down at his phone as she came in, and he said he didn't even look up to look at his daughter, and she's talking to him, and he said for some reason he looked up and he saw his daughter, and his daughter looked defeated, like completely like rejected. And he said he instantly put his phone down and he said, "Come here." And he goes, "I'm so sorry." He goes, "You're more important than my phone." He goes, "You're more important than this. And I know I've done this to you before, and I'm sorry." So from that time on, he said, I decided in my busy schedule of life, he goes, you know how you schedule, and I do that too. We've got this meeting, we have this, and you schedule your life meetings. He goes, I scheduled in my 4 children and my wife, but he did his 4 children he talked about, and he scheduled them in before he scheduled anything else. And he goes, and when I came home every single night, he goes, I left my phone in the car on purpose for an hour. He goes, for at least an hour, I went in the house, there was no phone on me, and I went in and I would see all of my kids and go visit with them personally so that I could have that relationship with my children. He said, because I was losing it. Like that kind of hit home to me, because and not that, because our kids are in college and doing all kinds of stuff now, and Lauren lives with her mom, and so we don't have kids living under our roof presently. They're off at college, like I said, and living, married and all that good stuff. But I do realize when my kids come over, one of the things that I do is I literally will put my phone down and not look at it, especially on Sundays. And I've had people even go, hey, I try to text you all day. And I'm like, it's my family day. I may pick it up for 1 second, but like, you have to be able to like invest your time in the people that matter. And that really, like, he almost cried when he talked about that today. And this big guy, this big, wealthy, very successful guy up on the stage talking about his kids and how he quickly learned that like that was most important than, always being on your phone or being on a date night. And if we're both on our phones, and what are we doing? Like,
might as well stay home.
we might as well stay home, and because we weren't communicating. And that was a really good take from someone very successful to me to, and a lot of people may see that, like I've had people go, oh my gosh, how do you watch the twins, or how do you still do what you're doing and try to help your kids with their kids or whatever? And I'm like, I schedule it in, and they do. They'll say, Mom, can you watch the kids? Hey, Mom, can you do this? And I'll be honest, a lot of times it's not convenient. It's not a convenient time, but it's more important to me than anything. And I want to do that. And I also want to make sure that, like, I can't wait to go back and even tell my girls a little bit more about, like, I feel like, don't tell us, hopefully they probably won't watch it. But I really feel sometimes like our kids, not just my kids, but like all of our kids, they come to our house and it's not us on our phone, it's them. Like, get off the phone. Be with us.
Before with my phone of everybody sitting in a circle in the house.
And all of our kids are on the phone. Does anybody else have that problem?
Everybody.
Do you think they do? Like, because sometimes I feel like, are we the only ones that...
Everybody has a device problem.
And it's like, are we addicted to our devices? And then...
I was wondering what so-and-so's doing on Instagram. Oh, did you see their story? Oh, did you see this? Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, but why are we so invested in other people's lives when we should be investing in our own life and our own family and what they're doing? I think that's really what it's about. So anyway, that's the thing. Leann Rimes was super sweet. She was so kind, and we kept talking, and the security people had to make us stop talking. And so my husband was just taking pictures. It was really cute. and I told her I would DM her and I'll send her my products, and because she asked me what my business was, and then we started talking about it, and I said I can send you some things if you'd like. So hey, that's kind of how, I don't know, I know it sounds kind of weird because I think fear dictates so much of what happens in life, and I'm just from everything I've went through, I've went through hard. I went through rejection, and we all have. And she could have easily just looked at me like, whatever. Or I just think the fear of not doing something is scarier to me than being rejected. Is that kind of crazy?
No.
Yeah, but I do think that, like, I'm so grateful that you found me, like, and like things like that. Like, I would have never found him if he hadn't found me online and reached out to me, because we would have never known each other.
Nope.
So I look for things like that. I mean, if he had lived in that fear of like, oh, what if
I'm not gonna message that hot girl.
I don't know about that. But anyway, I remember going to Disneyland. All my kids and grandkids are on the phones. Yes, exactly. It's crazy. Take time outs.
Oh, you want to hear my favorite thing from Ed today?
Oh, okay. Mr. Weber, share.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So my favorite thing from him was all four of them talked about it. So popular nowadays to say the things the universe has in store for you, or if you put it out there, the universe will give it back. And people can define that a million different ways. So all the speakers talked about that. And I'm sure all of them will tomorrow because everybody defines it different. But I like the Ed. He said those kind of things too. But then he said, look, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I believe one day I'm going to meet with him. There's going to be a reckoning. And then I thought it really was interesting to me. He said, here's how I think it'll go down. When I die and I'm up there, I'm going to be introduced to the person I could have been and should have been.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And he's like,
deep.
I'm working for that to be like meeting an identical twin.
Yes.
He said, my definition of hell would be to show up there, see the person I was supposed to be, and be looking at a total stranger. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because you explained it better than I could. And because that he was talking about potential, because so many people, you guys, we
all sat back and waited too long to do something.
Yeah.
And then when we finally do it, we were afraid to do it. When we finally do it, we go, that wasn't so bad. Or, oh my gosh, it worked.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, at least you know, then you move on and you're not living,
Yeah.
you're not going around in the same circle forever. What if I don't? What if I fail?
You deserve to be happy.
Just do it.
Yeah, do it. You deserve to be happy, and don't do things because you're fearful, or don't do things because you're in fear.
Just do it.
Just do it. And they talked about that a lot, and I'm a firm believer that there were a couple times like they're like, do it. And I go, yeah, I have a necklace that says do it anyway, or, all these things. Or like this one guy said, show up. And I'm like, I talk about that. Show up. You have to show up for you. Like
the one guy said, I am enough. I want to say trademark. Sorry.
No, I don't own that. But it was, you guys, it was really amazing. I really believe, hi Trish, I really believe that we have to spend our time building our personal foundations. Build, because then you're solid. And when those hard times come, like when I'm telling you, we all have hard. And I don't want to compare my hard with your hard, and your hard is certainly hard. And I know that we all go through things that we think is going to break us and that we cannot go through. But I'm telling you, when you have a foundation of knowing no matter what, that it's going to be okay, and that you are, I personally believe when you know that you are a daughter or a son of God, for me, that always helps me to know that like I can get through these things.
And you're not meant to fail. You're supposed to succeed.
Yeah, we're not meant to fail. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not just talking like on a business, like, because I think so many times a lot of people think empowerment events are for business only. I think you can't be successful in business, truly successful, if you're not happy with yourself. Oh my gosh. Can we share one more thing before we go?
Sorry, we're out of time.
No, we're going to share this.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So on the stage today were a lot of wealthy men and women. And my husband and I were like, a lot of these, I thought, oh, that's great. There's a lot of people that have been very successful. But every single person on that stage, and I truly believe this myself, is no amount of money. There are so many people that that's what they consider is success, is their title. They talked about that today. Your label. What is your label? What is your title? What is your, I am a CEO, I'm a doctor, I'm a dentist, I'm a lawyer, I'm a accountant, I'm a entrepreneur, I'm whatever. And we're always like, okay, I am successful when, or maybe we think if we have X amount of money, or especially for some of these speakers that are like, that maybe have $200 million in their bank account or whatever, that is quite successful in a financial thing. But they all said, they're like, those things, and even Ted, he said, those aren't the things that like make me happy. He goes, because you can acquire all of these things, but if you're not happy within yourself, you don't have true wealth. You don't have what we need truly. We need that. We don't need $200 million in our bank account.
I mean, I'd take it.
But you know what I'm trying to say.
That's the funny thing, listening to the super rich guys talk, you can genuinely tell they really don't care about the money, and the money came because they were chasing money, but they chased a dream and it turned into money. Yeah. Because they did something really good that other people wanted, and I think they are. Once you get that much money, I think you realize it doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't make that much difference. You're still a person. Mm-hmm. You could drop dead tomorrow. You could have all kinds of issues that money doesn't fix. Absolutely. And that's every person on that stage pretty much said that today too. And even Leann Rimes, who had, very, very successful career, very successful financially. And she talked about her own insecurities of thinking, I'm not enough, I'm not pretty, people are sick of me by now, and talking about those things that are like, they say we have between 20 and 50,000 thoughts a day. 80% of the thoughts that we have are negative. And it was really interesting because I'm such a firm believer that the reason where I am in my life personally was because I had to learn, like, hey, wait a minute. I can either be my own best friend, or I can like beat the crap out of myself. I can be like Lewis Howes today was talking about, it's like baseballs, throwing baseballs at your head. Every time you have a negative thought, it's a baseball to your head. And I thought, yeah, I can honestly say that for me, when those negative thoughts start coming, I'm just like, nope, I'm going to hit that ball away. I am not going to take a baseball to my head. Like, and too many of us are allowing that baseball to hit our head continually. You're dumb. You can't do this. You're not good enough. You're a bad person, and all the different things. And the moment that we believe in our enough, the world changes. And no one really talked about that too much today. There were a lot of guide speakers per se. So I'm hoping tomorrow there'll be a little bit more on that, because I really believe that everything changes when we love ourselves. I really do. I think that's such a big thing. Okay, anyway, I'm going to end this. Aaron, we should save this video. Put it on YouTube. Save it. Save it. Is it kind of awkward that we're in the hotel room bed, though? We don't care? I mean, not until you just made it awkward. Oh, my gosh. I love you, friends, so much. Thanks for joining us. Friday night date night with Brian and Teresa. Good times in Columbus, which is a beautiful city. Again, this is called the Summit of Greatness, Columbus, Ohio, with Lewis Howes. Check it out. You should come. Check it out. We're going to be here next year. I'm not even kidding. Well, one of us will be. You're not coming with me? Oh, I'm coming. I didn't think you were. Oh, my gosh. Whatever. All right, well, we'll go. Love you guys. Good night. Thank you.